Well, Josh, I know it's Basketball Media Day, but a 5-1 start for your football program. What's this resurgence been like for you to watch?
It's been exciting. Obviously, this is something that we've been building toward for a long time, and give Coach Bielema, the staff, obviously our players, a tremendous amount of credit. We've said from the beginning that when you're in a position like we have been, a lot of this is just learning how to win and understanding what's necessary, having the confidence that when you get into a tight game like we had on Saturday, that you can look it in the face and come out on the other side with the victory. And so I just couldn't be happier for our guys and for our program and for our fans. It's been fun for everybody to feel the energy. I think we've all been around when we've been good, and we all understand the different atmosphere that it brings to our campus and to our community. And it's just really exciting for us to be able to do that and to feel the sense of enthusiasm that's really kind of pervading around Champaign-Urbana right now.
What's it say about the growth of the basketball program under Coach Underwood that they can lose 5 starters, they can lose 2 All-Americans the last 2 years, and still have such high expectations for the season?
Well, we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and again, I give Coach all the credit in the world. And you think about the last 2 off seasons, what this program has gone through. Last year, of course, to change out the entire coaching staff, and then this year to change out such a significant part of the roster. He's somebody who doesn't panic. He understands who he is. He knows what he's looking for. He has a lot of self-confidence and a strong sense of identity around what he wants Illinois basketball to look like. And then he's patient. He works his way through it. He talks to people. He learns about them, and then when he finds the right fits, he doesn't hesitate. And so it's been a lot of fun to work with him these last couple of years and just see him lead through some of that adversity. And just really excited about where the program sits now and looking forward to the beginning of this season.
Josh, you said 6 years ago we will win. What's it like to see both those programs win at this level? So what's it been like?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. I just keep saying that. I'm really proud of where we've come from, and I said that however many times in the many years leading up to this, that when we started to achieve at the level that we expected, it would be that much sweeter knowing where we started. And I hope that our fans feel that way. I know I feel that way. I know that people on the inside of the program have felt that way. We just have to, every once in a while, take a moment to appreciate where we are and what we're doing, but just a moment, because we have a lot more to do. And I think that's the reward. You have a chance to go out and win 2 big games like we did in Madison and then in our place last weekend, and you get a second to catch your breath, and then you got a big Minnesota team coming in for a hard game on Saturday. And so you just have to keep pushing, and I think that's the challenge for all of us. Is there's human nature that can seep in at some point in time, and you have to be very disciplined in the way you think and the way you work. You have to guard against that and continue to keep the pedal down and continue to keep aggressive, and that's really been the focus for us with our staff, and making sure that we now take advantage of these moments. Here we are, we've put all this effort into getting to this place. Now we have to make sure that in this moment of time we take full advantage of that opportunity and try and capture as many hearts and minds as we can, and use this opportunity as a springboard for what's to come.
You've invested a lot of money into the coaching staffs. Is that your challenge now, is to keep this all together and keep it going to the next level? Is that the biggest part of it?
College athletics isn't getting any cheaper, that's for sure. And we've certainly seen with each successive offseason how the coaching carousel has continued to change and evolve. And obviously there's some new external factors that I think have contributed to that with the transfer portal and name, image, likeness. And the marketplace has continued to accelerate. And so we have to be aware of the environment that we're working within and be prepared to do what we can to maintain our position. I really couldn't be happier with the staff that we have, both in football, men's basketball, women's basketball. I think Sean has put together a tremendous group, and we know that as we have success, we're going to become an attractive entity for people who are looking to create their new staffs, and so we have to be ready to be proactive. I think that's been a kind of a hallmark of our time together, is that as we've identified people who we think are major contributors for us, we've not hesitated to be proactive and put our best foot forward and make sure they have a comfort in staying with us. And so we'll continue to do that, and hopefully we can keep the band together for a while longer here and really continue to capitalize on some of this success.
Last time we talked to you as a group, NIL thing was just kind of getting off the ground. Is there more clarity now on how that piece is working, and are you happy with how the university is handling it?
I am, yeah. I think each week brings more clarity around name, image, likeness, and in some ways, obviously it continues to evolve. It changes very quickly, but it feels like the pace of change around NIL has maybe slowed a little bit. It seems like maybe we've kind of found our sea legs, not just as a school, but as an entity, as an industry, college athletics. And so we're, I think, in a good place in terms of how we're approaching it institutionally. Really have a lot of respect for our coaches. Again, it's a huge change for them and for them to be able to navigate as effectively as they are. Our staff deserves a lot of credit. Our fans and some of the people on the outside of the program have been very interested in learning more about it and in some cases participating. And so that's, I think, something that we can't thank them enough for. So again, I've said this publicly, it's the biggest change to come to college athletics in a very long time. And we have to make sure that we remain in the front seat and in control of how that's being implemented within our program and using it to our advantage, and I feel comfortable that we're doing that.
Is there something that can maybe, connect or happen when you've got a men's team with expectations and a women's team? There's some excitement just because it's new. They're all under the same roof for the first time in almost 2 years.
I hope so, absolutely. And we're excited with the new oven facility, which I know we're going to get some of you through here, I think maybe this week. It's a great opportunity for them to share ideas. I'm excited about, I know the friendship that Brad and Shauna have created. I was able to be with them at dinner last night just to listen to them interact and share ideas and bounce things back and forth. And obviously Brad's now gone through this journey, and it's not to say that the journey's at all near its conclusion, but we all know the rough days that were there at the beginning, and so he certainly, I think, can provide a sympathetic ear to Shauna as she tries to build something in her program. And I think that there's nothing bad that can happen from having them connected, having them under that one roof, and putting him in a position to be a resource for her, and vice versa. She's an incredible coach, and she certainly doesn't need to go around asking a lot of people for advice on how to run an offense or how to run a defense or how to recruit. And so I think there's things to be learned there from both sides of that building.
You know that oven's essentially done, getting there almost. And
getting there.
Baseball, softball, same thing. What's next?
Well, that's a great question, and we spent a lot of time thinking about that, talking about that. Feel really good about what we've been able to do the last 6 years or so. We're going to get Oven across the finish line here, and then we've got to make some decisions about how we want to allocate and prioritize resources in the next several years. But that's certainly a topic of conversation internal to our staff right now, and we'll need to make some decisions, and we'll let you know as we have some things to share.
Josh, sticking with foundations, but this in particular, how important is it, even though there's not a big turnout here today, if the Big Ten wants to be a coast-to-coast conference, to take this event way away from its normal stopping point?
Well, I think it's just an understanding that the Big Ten at this point is a national conference. We're very proud of that, and we try and take Big Ten basketball to where the people are, and we understand that. I give Jim Delaney a lot of credit. Of course, we took the tournament out east for a few years during his tenure to Washington, D.C., and then to New York City. We've got the tournament on the men's side that will be played up here next year. The women's tournament will be played here this year, and so it's a great opportunity for us to show a little love to what will be one of our host cities in the foreseeable future, and that's something I give our staff a lot of credit for organizing and facilitating these kinds of events.
What women's basketball has been kind of it just hasn't been a successful program for quite a while. What's success look like for that program? Because obviously you're not going to have 16,000 people in the stands, you're not going to have all that kind of stuff. But what's the success look like for them?
Well, we want to win. It's pretty straightforward, really. Now, what does success look like in each incremental year may be a different answer, but at the end of the day, we have the same goals for almost all of our sports. And the idea is that we're going to go out and compete at a high level. This year, we've really recentered around the idea of competing for championships. I think that's and we've won a lot of games in Big Ten athletics at the University of Illinois. We haven't won as many championships as we should, as we aspire to. And so we've got the same goal for Shauna and her program as we have for Brad and his, or Dan Hartlib and his, or Tyra Perry and hers. But ultimately, it's always a question of starting point and end point. And everybody has kind of that same end goal, but everybody's starting point is a little bit different. And so in her case, obviously we're excited just for her to bring new culture, to bring new discipline, new attention to detail. And I think if you spend some time with the women who are here today, you'll hear the enthusiasm they have about what's already happened in that gym in the first 6 months of her tenure.
Josh, you guys are obviously pushing for ticket sales for football. I know it didn't happen overnight. Sometimes it happens the next season. But what's the goal for you guys, or how do you guys push that? Improve game day operations. I know game one was an issue, but how do you kind of put that all together?
Well, for us, it all fits into the same overarching objective, which is to win. We need to win football games, and the best way that we can win football games is to have a really big, robust, loud crowd. And whether that means quote unquote a sellout, or whether that's what we had on Saturday, which was not a sellout, but a really dynamic environment, and one that I think ultimately, and you heard Brett talk about it during his availability yesterday, I think impacted the end of the game. That's what we need. We need a building that when recruits walk into that space, they feel the energy, they understand the community support that exists for our football program. We need a building that has enough people and enough juice to it that when it gets tight down the stretch like it did against Iowa, we've got that extra support in the stands to help us disrupt what they're trying to do and ultimately get the victory. And so that's ultimately what we're trying to accomplish. It's going to be hard for us to routinely sell out until we get our season ticket base higher, and we're just not going to be in a position to move 30,000 tickets in a week. That's hard to do for anybody. But I think in the long term, our goal will be to raise the season ticket levels, and then hopefully that puts us in a position as we have success and we have these single games that develop that can be really prominent and important for our program, that then we're in a position to move enough tickets in those weeks to get those games sold out, and that's where we're trying to head.
Not to put you on the spot or anything, but I'm curious.
But you'll do it anyway.
I'm curious. I'll follow that up.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you think about college football coaches, Power 5 coaches being let go 4 or 5 games into the college football season.
Yeah, I don't spend a lot of time second guessing my colleagues. It's really hard to know what's happening in somebody else's house, and I have a lot of confidence in the people who sit in this chair or at other institutions, and I know enough to know that I can't know everything they're experiencing. I don't know who's involved. I don't know the pressure points. I don't know what their strategy is, but I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume that they have one. And so, it's certainly something that I follow with interest. I do sometimes, because I'm always trying to learn. I want to understand, well, why did that happen in that way? What could they have been thinking? What were some of the things that maybe pushed them to make a certain decision? Because you never know how things could unfold. So you always want to try and learn from what's happening around you. And so I don't have an opinion on it other than just to say I think that I trust that my colleagues have a lot of better information than I do in those situations. The same when I make decisions. A lot of times people like to second guess those, and I get it. But most of the time I'm going to have more information than they do to base that decision on, and I'm pretty confident that my colleagues across the country do in their situations as well.
All right, I got